Hi, I'm Rick Grant, President of Minor Institute in Northern New York, Shazy, New York. We do research with dairy cattle, and I focus on dairy cattle nutrition, forages, and cow behavior. Well, I'd say it's variable. That's an easy answer, but some farmers are actually be in pretty good shape. It's been drier, obviously, than normal, even here in Northern New York and the Northeast. But where we are, particularly in New York and parts of New England, we had pretty timely rain, so tonnage shouldn't be an issue. But I know a lot of people probably will have less than the desired quality of corn silage and certainly hay crop silage. But it's going to be a mixed bag. Some farmers will be in good shape. Some farmers are going to be scratching for tonnage as well as quality. Well, if they have limited amounts, or even if they don't and it's poorer quality than what we would normally consider dairy quality hay, obviously the first thing is to more than ever know what the quality of the forage is, have it tested. We really focus on NDF or fiber and fiber digestibility, and especially for corn silage is starch and starch digestibility. Those are four key measurements from our standpoint. Well, so those are the four forage quality analyses that we really focus on here and recommend that farmers focus on as well. The other thing we tell people is if they truly have limited tonnage, but they have some good quality forage, they need to do several things just to make it last. One is target it to the cows that will respond, and there's some good information out there about how cows respond to different types of forages, as well as by stage of lactation, how much you can expect them to respond to, say, higher digestibility forages. The other thing we really focus on is most farmers, at least in our region, have corn silage as the primary forage component, and especially if they've been able to put that up in good shape, they can't afford to squander any of the value in that, particularly the starch side, but also the fiber. So those are some of the major things that we look at with our producers, or talk about with our producers in this area. You should never sacrifice milk production. Actually, you shouldn't have to. The data that we have and others have pulled together shows that, first of all, we always talk about trying to optimize or maximize forage inclusion in the diet. And if you have lots of high-quality forage, that's what you should do. But if you're looking at a year going forward where you just don't have it, we actually have done work here where we've been able to titrate down the amount of forage in the diet down to as low as about, say, 40 to 45% dry matter of the dry matter. So say 40% of the dry matter is forage. And the cows do not lose anything in terms of fat-corrected milk production or sufficiency of production. Basically get there by feeding less corn silage and hay crop silage, and also we take out some of the cornmeal, which frankly is expensive, and replace with byproduct feeds. Particularly the forages, a lot of the times the different companies that sell the byproducts will have pretty good analyses on those, but you mentioned distillers, and we know that those can be quite variable. So it usually is in the best interest of the farmer. Certainly their nutritionists or consultants should be out there testing and knowing what's being delivered to the farm, or if it's incorporated into a premix, of course. Well, I think it's really basics, isn't it? I mean, whenever there's a year like this, people are looking for some sort of a magic additive or bullet, but there really isn't one. And so we know that forage quality and cow comfort are the two key components to profitability. So if forage quality is either limited or the tonnage is limited, well, you look at alternatives such as byproducts or how low can you feed forage, making sure you keep enough effective fiber in there. But then it comes back, I really focus on cow management too. So group your cows. Grouping is always important, but even more so in these types of times where you can really target the right forage quality to the cows that are really going to respond. If I have time for just one quick research data set I can think of, we did a study when I was actually still back in Nebraska where we fed a high digestibility and a low digestibility corn silage to high-producing cows. And over all of the animals, actually they ranged from modest production, say 50 pounds, up to 120 pounds a day. On average, the cows responded to, say, 10 percentage units increase in fiber digestibility of the corn silage by about 2 to 3 pounds, which isn't much on a herd basis. But the cows that responded the most were those which produced